Today we'll be making the M60 Patton. The M60 is an American main battle tank used in the Cold War. The M60 is your stereotypical tank, enough so that it is one of the most favorite Army-men tank designs. And apparently the M60's design is really rare and loved by many people, with some people being happy that they got a broken M60 Patton. But since this video isn't about plastic tanks can go bite my cardboard. In my opinion, my M60 looks a lot better than plastic, so if you want to make it, here it is. Let's get into the tutorial. For starters, you'll need some references. For some reason, when you search up the M60 Patton on Google, it shows you more pictures of the M48 Patton, which doesn't make sense to me. So I recommend using this 3D model I found on the internet. Now that that's sorted out, it's time to start. After figuring out how big I want the tank, I cut out this half dome shape. This is because the bottom of the M60 Patton is curved apparently, which just makes my job a lot harder. And then afterwards I cut out a front plate, and apparently the front plate has a weird indentation over here, which makes my job so much harder. When you're done gluing on the front and bottom plates, I glue on the top of the tank, which is just a long strip of cardboard. Next up is the circle with a cutout center. The circle is made because the turret sits on a circle that sticks out a little bit, and it's cut out to put the turret mechanism in. And this time I actually used a compass. Now to make the turret. The base of the turret is just a circle. To make the sides of the turret, I cut out this shape. I glue this onto the sides of the circle, wrapping it around it, making one side of the tank like this. I also used some other pieces of cardboard for support. Then I cut out and did the same process for the other side of the tank. With the two sides completed, I glued on a flat piece of cardboard for the top. When that's done, you should see that the turret has its basic shape. To finish off the turret, you glue on the back and bottom pieces. The front of the tank should be curved like this. Now that the basic shape of the turret is done, it's time to start working on the gun and other pieces. To make the gun, I glue on this piece of cardboard that's just bended over the front of the tank. Next, I looked through my broken pencils to find a barrel for the gun. The barrel of the gun is made up of different types of pencils glued together. When I'm satisfied with the gun, I glue it on to the tank. On the M60 Patton, where the gun is mounted, there is some cloth or something. So to replicate that, I just got a piece of cloth and glued it onto the base where the gun is glued onto. When the gun is glued on, the base turret should be done. Since the turrets of these tanks are usually rounded off, to make the edges less sharp, I use this paper mache technique that I've used in recent videos. For this, I just get some paper towel and some white glue, and I just glue the paper towels around the tank. Wrapping the paper towel around makes the edges smoother, and the white glue smooths it out. Once it's dried, the turret should look like this. The smaller machine gun turret is made in a similar fashion. I cut out a circle as a base, and then I glued this strip of cardboard over it to make it round. You should have something that looks like this for the base. Then I wrapped some smaller pieces of paper around it to fill up the gaps. The rest is just gluing on the machine gun and adding some details. The machine gun turret is mounted by just having a little pole that sticks out the bottom and poking a hole into the main turret. Then I could just stick the little pole through and it should be able to rotate. Mounting the turret is easy. I just cut out a circle the same size as the hole in the main tank. Then I glued this circle onto a bigger circle. I put that on the underside of the hole inside the tank, and then I glued the turret on top of the thing. When that's dried, I work on the side of the tank. The side of the tank is just a big piece of cardboard that I glue onto the side of the tank. Then I just trim it out. Since the bottom is curved, I have to get a huge piece of cardboard, curve it, and glue it onto the bottom of the tank. When you're done with the side and the bottom, it should look like this. Then I just make the other side. The track covers are also just a long strip of cardboard glued on. Next up are the wheels. For each wheel I cut out a circle in cardboard. Then I glued the circle onto some thicker cardboard to make it, well, thicker. After it's dried, I cut out the circle and I wrapped it around in some cardboard to make this thing. This is the basis for each wheel and I make 14 of them, which is very tiresome. I also make dots in the middle of each wheel with some hot glue. Then when you're done, I glued on the wheels. I also make the gears by just cutting cardboard like you see here. Now that we're done with everything on the base of the tank, it's time to add details. For this tank I used a lot of materials to make details depending on what the references told me to. When that's over, you should be done with the tank. Next step is the tracks. Since these American tanks have these types of tracks, I have to make them accordingly. For these I get some corrugated cardboard and I cut it into a strip. Then on the backside I glue on a ton of strips of paper to represent the American tracks. This is excess work and you should probably just use a corrugated cardboard, but I wanted accuracy, so yeah. The last step is to paint it. I painted mine just a base coat of green. Then I added camouflage later. The tracks should also be painted black as well. And after that I glued on the tracks. Now you're basically done. So that's my tutorial on the M60 Patton. In my opinion it turned out great, so I hope you have a similar result. Anyways, thank you all for watching.